Is stress and anxiety overwhelming? We've got answers coming up today on Living by Design. Tony Lamont presents Living by Design with host Kathy Holloway Hill. Kathy is a strong, powerful voice. She entertains, informs, and inspires her audiences everywhere she goes.
Hi, I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, and welcome to the Living by Design show. We have a magnificent show coming up for you today. How many people out there are stressed, burned out, you don't know what to do with all the different balls that you're juggling, all the hats that you have to wear, anxiety, stress, depression, all these things are just all over you, and you don't know how to deal with it. Well, our guest today, Miss Bella Dodds, she is actually an expert in integrative health, and we are going to talk to her, and she is trained from the International Association of Mental Health. So she knows her stuff. And we're going to talk to her today about anxiety and stress and how to get yourself in a place where you can be more productive and live a healthier life. Bella, welcome to Living by Design. We are so happy to have you.
Thanks so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
And I also want to say that we want you to stay tuned because at the end of the show, Bella has a very special offer for our viewers. So keep that in mind. And it's coming up at the end of the show. So, Bella, we are just absolutely thrilled to have you on Living by Design.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. It's such an important topic, and I really want to share this information with as many people as possible. So thank you for inviting me.
Just tell our viewers a little bit more about your background and how you came to do what you're doing.
Okay, well, I am the author of The Anxiety Solution, and I wrote that book because I had anxiety myself. I grew up with addiction, and so that's a really common link about anxiety, which I can talk more about later. And basically, I grew up watching how unresolved stress from decades prior can really imprison someone later in their life. Through that process, I've been in the healing arts for about 16 years now. And through that process, what I've discovered is truly within our greatest pain is actually linked to something that we love the most. And it is part of our greater calling or our purpose in life. And that is part of the healing process, because my work is not about having people let go of stuff that doesn't seem to hold, not when we're talking about your physiology, your physiological response. The body can't lie. So our mind might be like, I'm okay, but the body's saying, no, you're not. So you have to go very, very deep to help the body to truly heal and overcome that stress. And the best way is to harness that pain into strength and purpose in your life.
Wow, that is absolutely an amazing story. And I am so glad that you're transparent enough to tell our viewers that you came to your purpose out of a painful situation. Your power came from your pain. You were addicted. Or
I wasn't addicted. I grew up with addiction.
Well, you grew up with addiction, same difference. Yeah. I mean, whether it was you or whether you were around a loved one who, was in the house or in the home or close to you in any capacity, that can really affect you, especially in your younger years, because those are the formative years. So, thanks for sharing that. And, a lot of people, as well as me included, discover our purpose through a painful situation that occurred in our lives. And I'm so proud of you that you found the power in that pain to start this and to get the training that you've received and to become an integrative health coach, which is absolutely amazing and wonderful, especially when it comes to mental and emotional issues, because typically we kind of tend to ignore those?
Yeah, so the International Association of Medicine, which is a very grounded perspective at looking at how the mind, body, and spirit are interconnected. We had looked at medicine for a long time as them being separate. The mind was treated separately from the body, and the human body was separated into all these different parts. But really, we're a human being, and you can't separate us out.
Right.
And to create true integrative healing, you have to honor all the different parts of who you are. And that makes a major jump forward in terms of curbing the healing process and making it much shorter and more inspiring. A much healthier, rewarding experience. I think the biggest part about integrative health is that it's incredibly rewarding. Your life improves so much by actually addressing the core problem.
Right.
And bringing balance to your life. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely amazing and wonderful, because there's so much there. There's so many different piece parts there. And our special gift that we have for you at the end of the show is really going to bring all this together. So we want to make sure that you stay tuned for the entire show so that you can take advantage of that gift.
This is a huge issue. It's a huge problem. The world has speeded up massively.
Right.
So we're being stimulated. 20 years ago, 10 years ago even, you could have left your home and been away for a few hours. And now you can get text message, Facebook, Twitter, emails, phone calls, It's all coming at you. And any one of those things can be stressful or a trigger for someone. And that's happening, every hour of every day, unless we're sleeping. So.
And a lot of my viewers are entrepreneurs, or they're in a job. They go to the workplace every day. And even though I love my work, I absolutely love my work, but there is a lot of stress that goes just with daily life. So let's talk a little bit about the differences in anxiety, depression, all of those mental and emotional type of issues that we could have. What are they all kind of in the same family, or are they different?
Well, that's a good question, and they aren't all in the same family to a certain respect. Some people can have strictly depression or anxiety, or a combination of the two. From a mental health perspective, we're looking at what stress is triggering your biological symptoms. And those stress triggers, 99% of the time, actually have never worked with a client where there weren't origins to their upbringing in some way. And so what happened in their past then becomes unresolved stress patterns that build up decades over time. And then that's going to cause the physical symptoms in the body. So it really depends on what type of stress somebody went through, how they perceived it, how they took it on, and how their body is then going to respond to help them survive it.
Hold that thought, because that's very, very critical. I need some examples. But before you do that, we're going to just take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. So stay tuned for more, because this is information that is very, very critical to your health. We'll be right back. Welcome to Makeover Minute. I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, host of the Living by Design show.
Hi, I'm Karen Boyd Beeman, makeup artist and owner of Make Me Cute.
And I'm Sonal Shetsuwari, owner of True You Style.
I prefer airbrush makeup because it has great coverage, it's flawless, and when I work with older clients, I pull each area of the face back so that I don't miss anything.
I hear you're going to a great theater event this evening. I wanted to make sure that True You Style was here to help you accessorize with simple and elegant pieces. But the final piece, have a great time.
Great. We all want to be beautiful on the outside, but what's really difficult is being beautiful and healthy on the inside. The omega-3 heart health formula will give you exactly what you need.
At my age, I'm gonna need it.
I'm Kathy Holloway Hill.
Karen Boyd Beeman.
Sonal Shetsuwari.
And I'm Dr. Karen Rodman, and thank you for joining us for Makeover Minute.
Welcome back to Living by Design. We are here with internationally trained meta-medicine Miss Bella Dodds, and she is a wealth of knowledge, and she's helping us understand stress and anxiety and all the different things that can really take its toll on our body. So prior to the break, Bella, you were going to tell us about the differences in some of the emotional stresses that we deal with.
The interesting thing is that I work with people from all over the world, and that is really affects people in terms of culturally. There's a big difference between someone in Brazil versus someone in Norway versus someone in Russia. Everyone's going to have a very different cultural response to different types of stress. But ultimately, it doesn't matter how different we are. I tend to find two really common themes with all of my clients. And I would say 95% of people fit into these two categories. And then there's a few subcategories. So the first one being, if you grew up where there was some type of massive unpredictability in your life, where you weren't sure if was going to be a good day or a bad day with one or both of your parents or guardians. And so this is really common if you grew up with some type of addiction, or if a parent had a mental health issue, if they were bipolar in some way, where they had outbursts of anger and then they could get really depressed. In essence, what happens is your nervous system starts to develop where you're not sure. You come home and you're not sure if you're going to feel safe, or if you're going to be in a house where suddenly someone is a stranger to you because they're drinking or they're doing drugs. And so you're in an environment where you don't feel safe, and it's very unpredictable.
Even in relationships, if you're going into your 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 15th, 20th, 40th relationship and you're still not married, that in itself can cause a massively stressful type of environment, battle in your body, right?
Yeah, it can be the same problem, just different characters. So
right.
Flee, they follow, they flee. If you go away, it's gonna find you. So one of the things you want to self-heal what's going on the inside and fix the problem while it's happening, rather than trying to run away. Unless you're not really safe.
So you're saying that anxiety and depression are the two most popular ones, for lack of a better word, the two most prevalent ones that you see a lot.
Yeah, especially for women, it's number one. I believe for men, it's number two. For men, depression is number one in terms of mental health. And then the other most common source for anxiety that I find with my clients is if they grew up in an environment where there was incredibly high expectations for them to do extremely well in their
perfectionism
their
syndrome.
Their physical appearance and keeping the house meticulously clean. So in essence, you're also again walking on eggshells. Even if it's a parent, both parents may love you, even if you grew up with addiction or if you grew up with high expectations. But what happens is over time, it creates an anticipation within that person's psychology of fearing that they're either going to get in trouble, which can be terrifying for kids, or they're going to disappoint their parents. So
a little surprising that depression is number one for men and anxiety number one for women. I would think it would be reversed because, well, maybe not, because aren't men a little bit more reluctant to even try to diagnose or figure out what's going on with them? They may feel or know something's not right, depression, but they won't go and get it checked, or they won't go and speak to anyone. They are reluctant to talk to a counselor, a therapist, or do you typically see that?
Yeah, men, definitely tend to, or they have. I feel like there's a movement happening where it's shifting now, and men are starting to come out more and more wanting to self-heal. But I would say women, and this is just traditionally, I think women tend to be very aware of what's going on in their environment, their small environment of the house. So they're seeing what needs to be done, and they can be very attuned to that and very sensitive to that. And if things aren't done, that can make them feel anxious,
right? Or
that if things aren't in place, they can't relax, they can't calm down.
Right.
Whereas, men are more connected into the larger outer territory.
The accomplishments-based type of mindset.
Yeah, biologically that is. how it has been for a long time, right? So, I mean, it's much more complicated than that. But yes, that's the statistics is
Right,
women.
right. Now, Bella, go ahead and give your website information. I want people to be able to get in touch with you. And we also had talked about that special gift that you have to wait until the end of the show to hear and receive. So go ahead and just give your website. We won't tell them what the special gift is just yet, but go ahead and give your website so that they can contact you if they want to get some help and work with you.
Great. Yes, it's belladodds.com, BELLADODDS.com. And there's a lot of resources there for coaching videos that I give and tips on how you can manage your anxiety and stress.
And all of that information is on your screen, so you can, pause it and write it down and get all of Bella's information. So we are going to take another quick break, and we're going to be right back with more from the amazing Miss Bella Dodds. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Makeover Minute. I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, host of the Living by Design show.
Hi, I'm Karen Boyd Beeman, makeup artist and owner of Make Me Cute.
And I'm Sonal Shetsuwari, owner of True You Style.
I prefer airbrush makeup because it has great coverage, it's flawless, and when I work with older clients, I pull each area of the face back so that I don't miss anything.
I hear you're going to a great theater event this evening. I wanted to make sure that True You Style was here to help you accessorize with simple and elegant pieces. But the final piece, have a great time.
Great. We all want to be beautiful on the outside, but what's really difficult is being beautiful and healthy on the inside. The omega-3 heart health formula will give you exactly what you need.
At my age, I'm gonna need it.
I'm Kathy Holloway Hill.
Karen Boyd Beeman.
Sonal Shetsuwari.
And I'm Dr. Karen Rodman, and thank you for joining us for Makeover Minute.
Welcome back to Living by Design. I am so excited to have this opportunity to speak with this expert and just amazing young lady who has just overcome some obstacles herself to find her purpose and passion. And we were talking on break, and she was just sharing a lot about herself, and I'm just really proud of her. So, Bella, let's just keep going with the discussion. Now, let's talk a little bit about the healing aspect. What are some of the small, tiny first steps? And I know you have a special gift at the end of the show, but even before that, what are some small things that people can start to do to heal or get beyond their, whether it's anxiety or depression or, whatever their emotional and, psychological things are that they're dealing with?
Okay, great question. So I would say the first is to really identify what is triggering your anxiety and your biological symptoms. It's not a mistake. You have it for a reason. So you really want to find out what is the underlying problem. Once you have that addressed, it is we are complex human beings, so it's not one small thing, it's many different things that you incorporate. And a big piece, as I mentioned in the first part of the show, is really taking that stress and actually turning it into something that is empowering in your life. And I worked with so many people, and I can tell you it is there every single time, and it brings people to tears and true humility when they discover what that healing is for them, what that purpose created for the next 80 years of their life. The first 20 might have been tough, but what about the next 80? And it's really about harnessing that, because there's a big difference between letting something go and having gratitude. Gratitude is very centering, calming, empowering for the body. It's a very, very different state physiologically than trying to forget something and repressing it and letting it go, because it'll just be recreated into your present. You'll see it the same way. You'll respond to the same triggers. So you got to resolve that stress. And then another big piece is codependency, which is a huge topic. Healthy
That's
boundaries.
a whole other show too.
a whole nother show. But really your anxiety is 95% of the time because of a relationship with someone else. So it is about creating healthy boundaries, not trying to take on the family's problems, the world's problems, everybody in the room's problems, absorbing everyone's stress and energy.
Yes.
It's learning how to really take care of yourself,
Right.
and to give yourself permission to put yourself high on that priority list, the top, and then be strong within yourself and let other people resolve their stress and their pain, without trying to go and fix and save and heal, because it doesn't work. Anyways, it's a big topic.
It is a big topic, and that's one of the, oh my goodness, I'm so glad you said it, because that's one of the things that I coach 95% of my clients who are females that, that want to get married, and, they're entering into their 25th, however many relationships they have, and it ends up the same way because they're doing it. They're doing the same thing with a different person, not understanding why it's not working. But like you said, it's the codependency. They are waiting for that individual to accept them, validate them, love them, appreciate them, when they first have to do that for themselves. And that's part of their healing. It's part of their healing. So I agree.
Yeah, once healing your codependency is like finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Right.
It'll transform every area of your life.
Amen.
Truly, 100%. It creates magic. It's people, women especially, we want to help people. We want to solve problems. We're nurturing by nature.
Yes.
And so part of it is, if I help this person feel better, then they'll be happy. Then they'll also be happy with me, but then I will feel safe, because if they're not happy, I may not feel safe.
Yes.
And so we're talking about survival issues of a need to feel safe and a need to feel loved. Those are two core issues. And so you got to get to the root of that. No partner, unless it's resolved within you, is going to resolve that for you.
Oh, that's so deep, and it's so good. Now, let me just get this out of the way and ask you this question, because I know there are a lot of people out there who probably want to know the answer, because I have read statistically somewhere, I'm not sure what the source was, I know a lot of people like sources, that 55% of Americans are on antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication. What is your thoughts on taking medication to try to manage anxiety or depression?
Yeah, it's been a recent turn of events that's happened in the past few decades. And I think we're starting to see, is it working for people? Is it not working for people? I'm not a medical doctor, so when clients come to me, if they're on, I like to know if they're on medication, but ultimately if they want to get off, I have them work with their doctor, because you do have to be careful in that waning process, but it's my work in helping them to treat the core issue massively supports that, because if they're not in a state of fear anymore, their body isn't going to be responding by releasing stress hormones into the body. They're going to feel calm and confident, or at peace and safe and secure, and their physiology is going to reflect that. So, I think it's just a matter of evolution and people learning about healing and people learning about themselves and understanding what's possible, and to know that healing is actually self-healing, is not this huge, long, drawn-out process for years and years and years where you are just coping. It is about getting to the core problem, treating it, leaning in, rising up, awakening, and creating balance and health in your life and your body. And, within a short period of time, you can get massive results.
And the thing about it is, I'm personally not a big believer of medication, but I am not opposed. If you need your medication, please take it. I'm okay with it, but I just say that with the side effects, it may cause more harm than good. So everybody may not have side effects, but some people may. So I just think the natural approach is always the best, especially like you said, if you can get to the root of the problem and, just work with that foundational piece and then work from the inside out to heal it and fix it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I want to share with people is that the thing that is causing them the biggest pain and fear in their lives, that really the medication is helping to mask, is that you don't want to mask that. You definitely don't want to mask that for decades. You want to get in there and you want to understand what that's about, because within that is the most profound aspects of yourself, the deepest, most meaningful parts of yourself. A lot of people in the world today feel empty. They don't feel fulfilled, or there's all this pressure to have more things on the outside or more likes on Facebook, or, all of this outer world stuff, and people are feeling very vulnerable on the inside. And so it's really a mind shift to say, I have to do harder work right now, but that harder work may take 6 weeks. My clients really see a huge shift within 4 to 6 weeks, massive shifts. So if you do 6 weeks, 2 months versus 2 years, you do some intensive work, you're going to have a huge strategy for relationships working better, being more confident, being physically healthier, not craving alcohol or different types of, food. There's so many things that, it's just like the value you get out of healing.
And you're so right. I'm glad you said that about the alcohol and depression and anxiety causes you to overeat and not sleep. And then you eat late at night and then you get overweight and then other health issues. So it just goes on. And we're going to have a part 2 show because we're running out of time. But this is absolutely great information. And I want you to go ahead and give your website again, and then we're going to talk about what the special gift is. So your website is?
belladodds.com.
Okay.
And if you're interested in finding out more about why you have anxiety, or if you're dealing with chronic stress or relationship conflicts, there's a link that you can connect to and sign up for a 15-minute complimentary consultation, and I can just talk to you about what you have going on. And this is the core piece that you need to work on, and I can give you some book recommendations to look at. And I also have a free download for a stress-relieving guided meditation. So go to the website and check those out, and I hope they help you.
Oh, thank you so much. That is awesome. Now, guys, come on now. This is a world-renowned expert in integrative health, and you got to take advantage of this opportunity. A 15-minute opportunity to speak with her complimentary, and a download where you can read and understand about what anxiety and depression and these types of emotional, psychological things can cause. Please take advantage of this. And Bella, thank you so kindly for joining us here on Living by Design. You have just been amazing, and I love you to death. God bless you and your work. You're helping people. You're making a difference. And I just appreciate everything that you have given my viewers and given me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's really wonderful. And I thank you for the work you're doing. It's so important to share this information with a lot of people.
Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate you joining us for this episode of Living by Design. We want to bring you the very best experts and the very best information so that you can have the tools and the tips and the techniques and the mindset so that you can live your life by design. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.